Hey guys, this is Dr. Blake Savage, and I'm back to discuss team building. So, getting into this topic, we're gonna kind of take a step back and sort of first off operate on like what is teamwork and defining that, and then we'll move into kind of roles or stages of teamwork or team building, understanding the psychology of group dynamics or team dynamics. And then we'll get into some sports psychology perspectives on team performance. And then after that, we'll hit on 7 habits of highly effective teams. And then we'll kind of wrap things up after that. So, first off, when you think of teamwork, what comes to mind for you? So, for some of us or that have spent time in teams is we must begin by understanding what defines a group. So again, taking a step back, within a team, a group is more than simply a collection of people. So members will recognize themselves as a social entity that interacts with each of its members, is psychologically aware of each of its members, and perceives itself as a group. And yet, for us in teams, that goes further. You share a common goal. So, with that being said, here's some things that an effective team has with the following attributes. They have a clear understanding of the team's objectives and goals, a range of skills and know-how among team members to handle tasks effectively or your role effectively in the game, variety of personality types and strengths among its team members, a high degree of respect and trust, both individually and for each other's contributions to team performance, and an effective recognition and reward system. So those points are above, and these take times. This doesn't just come out of nowhere, because this helps enable us to distinguish between people working together in groups and those forming effective teams. When considered together, it's possible to arrive at the following teamwork definition. So teamwork can be defined as the ability of team members to work together, communicate effectively, anticipate and meet each other's demands, inspire confidence, resulting in a coordinated collective action. So, and then to take that one step further with the focus on team building, you've got that definition of what teamwork is. Team building is an ongoing process that helps a work group evolve into a cohesive unit. So the team members not only share expectations for accomplishing tasks, but trust and support one another and respect one another's individual differences. So we know what effective teams do, think, and feel, and we also know what influences team dynamics and some interventions to help develop teamwork. So in psychology, we have research that has confirmed some of the following elements that are kind of like a prerequisite depending on how you look at team building or team effectiveness. But without getting into that, we're going to focus on the following elements are normally prerequisites for an effective team. You have strong team leadership, role clarity, mutual trust, good communication, and a compelling reason to be a team. So that is like that common goal. So sports psychology takes that one step further. So as with individuals, team performance in sports can benefit from time spent building what we call psychological capital, which comprises of 4 key elements: hope, self-efficacy, resilience, and optimism. So with esports teams or sports teams, you collectively benefit from coaching focused on each element to build that capital required to boost their combined performance. So once the psychological capital has been achieved, there tends to be a maintenance of a healthy culture, and you find an effective balance between holding each other accountable and supporting each other. So now kind of taking that a step further, let's hit on the 7 habits of a highly effective team and maybe some ways in which you could focus on building like you can focus on building up your team. So the 7 habits are, we'll kind of go through them in order, is innovation emerges over time. So successful innovation requires its members to combine the right ideas and appropriate structure bit by bit. So, or this could be strats or more effective comms when you're going through maybe a high intensity match or a game, or maybe someone is not taking things seriously. These are things that you can kind of focus on and work to hone in on over time. So, in action, to work on this habit is encourage each team member to take time each day or week to brainstorm and share new ideas and establish a structure of combining and building on those ideas over time. So at the beginning, there are no bad ideas. It's working on establishing your goals and establishing your role as a team member and working effectively to communicate and build new ideas effectively. So number 2 is successful collaboration teams practice deep listening. So what this is team members often spend too much time planning what they will say and how to respond in meetings and too little time listening to and observing others. So an action for this is prioritize active listening and observation during your team meetings and discussions. Provide opportunities for each member to practice deep listening skills. This is important because this hits on one of those foundational pieces of team building is that effective communication and trust. By being there for your teammate or what we would call like your battle buddy is important to establishing your team dynamics. So 3, team members build on their collaborators' ideas. So this is taking deep listening a step further. You'll each take on and evolve each idea further. So an action for this is recognize the potential of each team member's ideas and accept the importance of collective ownership to drive forward problem solving. So if you all are in conflict or having difficulties or not communicating well in the high intensity environment of a match or game, these are things that you can take back to the drawing board to work on to work on establishing yourselves more effectively as a team. So only after building on these ideas and working as an established group, this will help the meaning of each idea become more clear. So while it's tempting to attribute an idea to one person, its full important results from being taken up, reinterpreted, and applied by the whole team. That's important. So participants are willing to allow each other to give their action meaning by building on it later. So the action for this is emphasize the importance of evolving and adapting ideas as a team rather than attributing them to one individual. You're operating as a collective unit. You all are as one, and that takes time. So 5 is surprising questions emerge. So what does that mean? So the most transformative creativity results when a group either thinks of a new way to frame a problem or finds a new problem that no one has noticed before. So an action here is encourage each team member to question assumptions and think outside the box by regularly posing surprising or unconventional questions during meetings or discussions. 6 is innovation is inefficient. So improvised innovation will make more mistakes, but it can be phenomenal when the team gets a hit. So an action for this is recognize that innovation can be inefficient and messy, but emphasize the potential for breakthroughs. And lastly, innovation emerges from the bottom up. So teams start with the detail, improvise innovation, then work up to the big picture. So start small with your overarching goal and have smaller mini goals building up to that. And you can do this by fostering a bottom-up approach to innovation, starting with small details and building towards the bigger picture. So lastly, I'll hit on 10, with team building, I'll hit on barriers to teamwork that can kind of be real world team environments that can cause problems. And this doesn't just go to esports, this can be in other teams or roles that you're in. So these 10 barriers are poor understanding of roles and responsibilities. This can lead to confusion and lack of accountability. 2, insufficiently defined goals and objectives. So the team may not clearly identify what they're working toward, leading to uncertainty and lack of motivation. 3 is poor decision-making processes. So your team may lack effective decision-making techniques and strategies, and this can lead to delays or bad outcomes. 4, resistance to change. Team members may resist change, leading to a lack of flexibility and stagnation. 5, lack of accountability and ownership. So team members may not feel accountable for their work and the team's success. Lack of resources or support. So this can happen when teams may not have the necessary resources and support from your leadership or whoever you all as a team identify as the leaders to achieve your goals effectively. 7 is inadequate leadership. Teams may not have effective leadership, leading to a lack of direction and guidance. 8 is groupthink. So team members may be reluctant to challenge the opinions and ideas of others, leading to poor decision-making and the absence of creative thinking. 9, and this one to me is the most important, is lack of trust and psychological safety among team members. So team members may be hesitant to share their ideas and concerns due to lack of trust in their colleagues or fear of being judged and rejected. And then lastly is inadequate communication. Team members may not be effectively communicating with each other, leading to misunderstandings and conflicting priorities. So there's also, just kind of briefly touch on these, here are some just brief team building skills to help you as you all kind of get ingrained within each other and develop and establish a culture. Focus on clear communication, trust and accountability, adaptability and flexibility, emotional intelligence, active listening, conflict resolution, goal alignment, delegation, problem solving, and empowerment and autonomy. These can all help you sort of establish that team building or team culture that you're looking for. But again, it takes time. And by working on yourselves and then working on the collective group, you'll have success. So these are just some brief things that I wanted to kind of highlight, which focused on team building and team support and sort of going over what teamwork is and how to establish an effective team based on a sports psychology framework.